Welcome back to Rooftop Talks. Today, a small explanation for why people hate vegans. Specifically, why people hate vegans without knowing vegans, or at least without them taking the time to properly understand the vegan position. Sort of a default position for non-vegans can be to make assumptions about vegans and then to hate them based on those assumptions. Or maybe you have certain people around you that are behaving very strangely, that behave in a very defensive, prickly way when they are in the presence of a vegan. Not necessarily to do with anything the vegan says or does. It might have something to do with what the vegan says or does, but it doesn't have to be. It can be the mere knowledge that that person is vegan. That can be enough to bring out this prickly nature in people. And some people will just tell you, unfiltered, that they hate vegans. Why is that? Vegans, without them necessarily saying or doing anything, inflict moral injury on people. Now let me just define what moral injury is according to Wikipedia. A moral injury is an injury to an individual's moral conscience and values resulting from an act of perceived moral transgression on the part of themselves or others. It produces profound feelings of guilt or shame, moral disorientation, and societal alienation. Okay. That nails it. That absolutely nails the feeling that vegans give non-vegans. Makes them very uncomfortable because it kind of invites them to wake up to the situation that they are playing a part in society. A moral injury occurs in the mind of the perpetrator of a moral crime. When they are made aware of the crime they commit, it attacks the narrative of themselves that they maintain in their head. And this is what the narrative is. The narrative that non-vegans and vegans, but the narrative that is in people's head is, I am the good guy. I am the main character of this story, and I am the hero of this story. I'm the hero of this story. I'm the hero of my story. And this is very important to the ego. This is like the sacred text written in the ego. I am the hero of this story. I am the main character of this story. And what veganism does, just the mere presence of veganism, this ulterior paradigm, it takes that ego, it takes that statement, and it shakes it up. It threatens it. And when the ego is threatened, it lashes out. No one wants to be the bad guy, contrary to what they might tell you. Now, I want to add as a footnote here, you might say to me, well, actually, I met someone who is the bad guy and knows they're the bad guy and likes being the bad guy. Or they like being indifferent. They like being a nihilist. They identify as a nihilist. They know they're the villain. Okay, that's fine. Because then the uncomfortable thing that they don't want to hear is still the exact same as the uncomfortable statement that pipes up. They'll hear it, and it says the same thing whether they identify themselves as the good guy or the bad guy. The statement is the same, and that statement is, I could do better. I could be better. I could do it. That's a very, very difficult thing to come to terms with if you really identify as the hero of your story. Very difficult to come to terms with that for a lot of people, a lot of proud people. Most people are proud. Most people have some kind of pride and self-esteem, and that is a very difficult thing to come to terms with. And that is actually, I just listened to that voice and decided to follow it. And this is where it took me. It took me to altruism first, and then with more questioning, more education, it took me to veganism. Peaceful veganism. That same ethos that motivated many of history's great thinkers, Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Frederick Douglass, Pythagoras, Leonardo da Vinci, Leo Tolstoy, Albert Einstein. Although Albert Einstein was involved in the Manhattan Project, so maybe he's not the best example of someone who's entirely peaceful, but whatever. And many, many more. It's interesting, the Vegan Hall of Fame, you know, not necessarily practicing vegans, but people who espoused vegan messages, you know, people who added to the quote book of veganism. But anyway, rambling there. That is why vegans threaten non-vegans morally and maybe even existentially. Going through that paradigm shift towards an acceptance of veganism, to the alignment of vegan actions, vegan habits with your values, that can be a crazy ride. You know, it is like an ego death of sorts. I'm not someone who does drugs, but it always amuses me when I hear about people's ayahuasca trips and how it really opened up them hearts and minds to new ideas and to be more empathetic and compassionate and things. And they're still tucking into their fucking pork chops every night. I mean, it would amuse me more if it wasn't so frustrating, you know? If you're someone who does drugs recreationally, I'm not one of them, but if you're someone who does, try going vegan. Like, try experiencing dystopia. And yeah, it's dark, but it's interesting, and you'll be a better person for it. There's a lot to gain, I think, from going vegan, not least to align your values with your day-to-day habits and activities, and to reconnect with animals so that you don't have this cognitive dissonance getting in the way, where you have this paradox of loving animals and exploiting them daily and paying for their eternal violation and killing. Yes, I'm talking about dairy as well. Animals get killed in dairy. Fun fact for you. I should say that in every video. I should just end every video with, like, dairy animals are also killed.
In the Czech Republic, too, we love pork. Ever had our sausages? In the Czech Republic, too, we love pork. You ever had our sausages?
Cola. Help you?
Salami sub. Hold the mayo.
We're at a mayo.
Change my meat to Black Forest.
What do you want me to do about it now?
I want to tell you.
Tell me what? You come here every night.
You fucked up.
What do you mean?
Here's these.
Get rid of these.
Ah! Let go of me! Let go!